in just about, it seems like every class, but definitely in the sales consulting plan. Okay, actually you have a copy of that, Tiffany. Yes, you do. Okay, so how many activities should an abundant sales consultant be involved in? It sounds like a trick question, doesn't it? No more than 94, right? That's it. There are other activities that could occupy your time that are real estate related, but they're not vital. Vital means it has to be done. Vital means it has a direct result in getting me to the closing table. Okay? So if I'm going to master the real estate sales game, I have to master those vital activities. Now, you as an individual don't necessarily need to be involved in all 94, because some of them are administrative in nature. Some of them are marketing in nature. Only 13 of the 94 are what we consider dollar productive. Okay? So ultimately, if you go down this path, we're going to coach you how to build a team where you gradually bring on team members to handle the administrative functions and the marketing functions, and all you do in the career hours you've devoted to real estate sales is the $13 productive. You are getting face-to-face with buyers and sellers. That's your only role on the team. I heard Mike Cedar speak at the RE/MAX State Convention a couple weeks ago. Y'all have heard of Mike, haven't you? He said in this meeting, he goes on 3 to 4 listing listing presentations every day. How in the world? 3 to 4 listing presentations a day. Per day. What that means is he's got people, doesn't he? He's got a machine. He has other people performing the non-dollar productive vital activities, so he is simply focused, in this case, on seller conversion. I suspect he does not work with buyers because there's more leverage in the listing relationship. Okay, probably has people who do that as well. Okay, all right. I'm going deeper on this than I want to, but it's out there. Okay, so. Okay, okay. All right, here we go. So the 5 stages of working with a buyer. This is really the heart of the course, or the class today. Having a process reduces the risk that comes with buyers. There's more risk with buyers than with sellers. The risk of what?
Busting out.
Wasting time. Okay? Wasting time. That's the great risk with buyers. Okay? So we need a process to determine whether or not they are truly A buyers, motivated, qualified, and loyal. And here's how it looks. First stage, pre-conversation activities. We meet in the office. We move to the conference room, not to the car. We don't meet in the parking lot and hop in the car. We meet in the parking lot and go to the conference room, okay, for a meeting, a get-focused meeting. Then we build rapport. This is in the meeting, face-to-face, we build rapport. Then, stage 2, we set the tone for the meeting. We tell them exactly why they're there, why we insisted on meeting face-to-face before hopping in the car. Then we send message number 2, which is all about defining their perfect home. We uncover their needs at a deep level. We also uncover their wants, and then we prioritize their wants. We verify their motivation. Okay, by the way, the first test of motivation is what? That's right, they showed up, right? Okay, that's a pretty good indicator right there. Now, we're not going to take that as the only indicator. We're going to nail this down, but that's hey, they showed up. That's a good sign. Then you're going to check their financial ability, right? Because they have to be not only motivated, but what? Qualified. Qualified before they get in your car. They're qualified. Okay?
Meaning what?
They have the ability to complete this purchase. That means a lending institution is willing to loan them the money, or they have the cash available and can provide proof of funds. The ability to close.
But the odds of them having that information at that time is your...
I'm not saying they have to bring it to the meeting. Just hang with me. I'm going to show you exactly when they have to have that. Clue? It's before they get in your car. Before they get in your car. Okay? Message number 3. We're still around the conference table. Roles and expectations. You're going to cover mutual expectations, what you can expect of me, and oh, by the way, what I can expect of you. Okay? You're going to gain agreement on the roles. Are we in agreement? This is it. This is each of our roles in this successful win-win relationship. And then you're going to close meeting number 1. Okay? The final step is post-conversation activities. So after the first meeting, what happens? Well, you do your homework. Okay? You find homes that satisfy all of their needs and as many wants as possible. You show those homes that meet the criteria, and then you close the buyer to an informed, intelligent offer. Okay? At this point, a motivated, qualified, loyal buyer is going to end up with a contract. Okay? An accepted contract. All right, so that's the 5 stages of working effectively with a buyer. Let's go through them one at a time. First of all, meet in the office. And you'll see here our core belief that drives this: time reveals all, right? Which we do not want to depend on. That's why we're meeting, okay? This is our process. Since we're not depending on time, we have to have another means of determining if they're an A buyer. This is it. We're going to meet in the office. This is where it starts, okay? Don't be a Pavlovian realtor. Pavlov's dogs. What happens when he rang the bell? They would drool, salivate, because they had learned to associate a ringing bell with what? Food. Right, they were going to get fed, okay? What is the Pavlovian bell in a realtor's life?
You're just salivating over that buyer to...
But what's the bell?
Phone call.
The phone call. It's the phone's ringing, right? Okay, oh, this could be it. This could be the big one, okay? We get all excited. And when somebody tells us they're a buyer on the phone, what do we want to believe? They're a buyer, of course. Let's go look. You talking about that property out there on the 40 acres, 30 miles outside of town? Absolutely. Let's go. I'll meet you there. Okay? And we run out there. Okay? So here's the typical reactive agent. The phone rings. It's a buyer. Let's go look. Come on. This is going to be fun. I love pretty houses. Okay? Let's go. Okay. Instead, all right, now this harkens back to accounting, to financial services, to auditing. We're going to coach you to be a professionally skeptical consultant. Okay? That doesn't mean that you're rude and accusatory. It just means I'm not going to take your word for it that the books really balance. What am I going to do? I'm going to check it out, right? I'm going to get the calculator out and add up the figures myself. I'm professionally skeptical. I'm nice, polite, professional, but I'm going to reach my own conclusion. And in this case, that conclusion is whether or not you're really a buyer. I'm not going to take your word for it. I'm going to determine that. How do I do that? The phone rings. Here's what goes through my mind. Hey, this might be a buyer. It might be. Let's get into the process and find out. Okay? Let's find out. Remember, take control. You are the professional. Okay? Buyers should never be allowed to jerk you around. Okay? Hey, I'm available right now. Let's go. Okay? You are the professional. That should be a core belief. I'm the professional. I'm in control of this relationship. There's so many things in life we do not control. Would you agree with me about that? Here's one of the things that we absolutely control. Who we get into and out of relationship with. We control that, okay? As a real estate sales professional, that is one of the keys to your success, is deciding who to get into relationship with and who out of, okay? And that's what this process is designed to lead you to. Okay, page 10. Ask for the meeting, okay? Now, I think our workbook is a little incomplete right here. Let me tell you why I say that. This presumes that you've got somebody on the phone and you ask them, are you currently in the market for a new home? Okay? That's a little deeper into the process of what normally happens. So I kind of wrote up something that I want to share with you. In fact, I took the liberty of posting this in the Property Desk workstation this morning because I think some will find it helpful.
All of the classes that you suggested would benefit, they also online?
Most of them are on our YouTube channel right now.
But like this, all this paperwork, it's on back agent?
Yes, our manuals are all on Back Agent.
Okay.
So if it's not a class we're teaching live, you can go on there, download it, watch it. If you do not see the manual, let me know. I probably have it and can upload it. Okay? All right. So let's approach this from a typical property desk scenario, okay? And I'm calling this the answer and ask conversion method. And let me just give you just a quick preview before we get into the weeds here. What that means is if somebody's calling, they want information, right? That's typically why they're calling. And they recognize that you are the gatekeeper to some of this information. And it may be that they just drove into town, they're looking for houses on their own, they're getting a little frustrated. Okay, let's call a realtor. And it sometimes can go like this. Yeah, hey, this is Joe Smith. My wife and I are driving around the Woodlands trying to find a house. We're moving here in a few months. Hey, we just saw a yard sign at 123 Elm Street. Can you tell me how much that house costs? Is that an unreasonable scenario? Does that ever happen? Okay? It'll go something like that. They'll have some question about the house. Okay? Here's your response. Well, of course. I'll be glad to tell you the price. May I ask who I'm speaking with? By the way, is that a legitimate response?
Yeah.
Of course, because you answered with your name, right? Okay? Hi, this is Nancy with RE/MAX the Woodlands and Spring. How can I help you? Well, hey, this is, whatever. If they don't tell you their name, ask for it. Is that important information for you to have? Yes, get it, okay? Now you're going to give them the answer. Okay, hey, the price at 123 Elm Street is $342,000. So you gave them what they wanted, right? This is the answer ask me. You gave first, but now you're going to take. Okay, you answered, now you're going to ask. You're going to ask them to reciprocate. So now you follow up with a question. Is that price within your financial comfort zone? Okay. Well, yeah, I think so. But hey, do you know what the taxes are on a home like that? I've heard property taxes in Texas are just outrageous. Well, let me take a quick look. By the way, do you have access to that information?
Yeah. Sure.
Of course you do. Okay, we'll see. Let me take a quick look. The tax rate on that home is X%. Looks like the current tax bill on that home is blank. Have you given them what they asked for? You answered, so now you follow up with a question. Hey, with that in mind, is the home still within your financial comfort zone? You're keeping them engaged is what you're doing here. You're not just letting the line go flat. Okay, thank you very much. Click. Okay, you're keeping them in the conversation. Yeah, the taxes seem high, but that's about what we were expecting. Hey, can you tell me if that house has a game room? Well, let me see here. There is a home theater on the second floor, but no game room. You gave, now you ask. Hey, is having a game room a priority for you? Okay? You're going to continue this dialogue as long as it takes. Answering, asking, giving, taking, until you hit a no. And that's what we just hit here, okay? No, I don't really have to have a game room. I was just curious. That's your cue right there to shift gears, okay? Because he didn't follow up with another question, okay? So when you get to a no or a stall, that's when you drop over to the material in our manual. That's when you shift gears. And you'll see that I put it right here on this little one-page guide. You transition, once you hit that pause, to asking for an appointment. So, hey, let me ask you something. Are you currently in the market for a new home? Now that would seem obvious, right? But is it always the case? They could be asking for somebody else, couldn't they? They could just be curious. They might be the neighbors, and they've always wondered what goes on inside the Smith's home, okay? And if they really have a game room up there, and oh, by the way, how much are they getting for that thing, or how much are they asking, okay? So it's an appropriate question. So let me ask you something. Are you currently in the market for a new home? Yeah, kind of. We're thinking about it anyway. Okay, so let me ask you this. What process are you using to find your perfect home? Okay? What's the process that most unrepresented buyers use? Their cell phone, their mobile device, maybe the internet. What else? Drive around. What else? Kroger's right behind us. How do buyers use Kroger? I picked up a Homes magazine at the grocery store. Okay? Here's the point. It's a random and spontaneous process. Okay? And they might, even if they're using HAR, okay, and now most of them are savvy enough to know that they can go to the internet, and in my experience, most of them find their way to HAR. Okay? I wish it was Remax.com, but for the majority of them, it's HAR. Do they know how to use HAR at the level that you do?
No.
I hope not. Okay, first of all. Yeah, if they do, refer them to me, okay? I'll be glad to talk to them. So, most buyers who are not represented by a realtor are using some type of random and spontaneous approach as opposed to an intentional and proactive process. Okay? So, hey, how are you going about finding your perfect home? Well, my wife's been looking on the internet. We picked up a magazine at Kroger, and my buddy at work told me that there's a nice house for sale on his street. Okay? You're going to hear that kind of stuff. Regardless of what you hear, unless they say they're represented by an agent, okay? And if they said that, oh, my cousin's a Century 21 agent, she's helping me. What's your next question? Yeah, okay, they may not know what that is, so it's sometimes simpler to say, hey, did you sign anything with your cousin? Did you sign anything? If the answer is yes, what's your response? Have a good day. Thank you very much. I'm really not permitted by law, by real estate license law, to answer any questions. Please have your cousin contact me, and I'll be glad to help her help you in any way that I can. Okay? What if they didn't sign anything? Well, no, we didn't sign nothing.
Come on in.
It's open season, isn't it? Open season. Because we know right there, if their cousin was actually helping them, they wouldn't be calling you, would they? Right?
Well, yes, they would, because their cousin could live in Boston.
Well, here's what we know at a minimum. Their cousin is not in control of the process. There is no intentional and proactive process for finding these buyers their perfect home. So it's open season. So if they're not under a contractual agreement with another real estate agent, here's what you drop into. Well, how would you feel about using an intentional and proactive process to find your perfect home? Okay? How can they say no to that? They don't even know what that means, by the way, but it sounds really good, okay? It sounds like you know what you're doing. So you just continue the dialogue, because they're probably going to say something like, well, gosh, what does that mean? Well, it would start with us getting together for about an hour so that I can uncover exactly what you need in your next home, define your financial comfort zone, and thoroughly discuss the roles and expectations we would have of one another in a successful working relationship. Does that sound like an approach that could benefit you? If they say no, what do you say? Next. Right? Because your only limit is time. And you are not going to work with unmotivated, unqualified, or unloyal people, okay? But if they say, yeah, I think that's good, it's great. Close. Do you want to meet with them sooner or later?
Sooner.
Thank you. Sooner. Strike while the iron is hot. If you're on property desk till 3, see if they can meet you at 3:15, okay? The earliest opportunity, get them in, because now's when they're thinking about it, right? They reached out. Strike while it's hot. Yes, Rosemarie?
Let's say they meet you, and then, they are serious, but they don't want to sign an agreement.
A buyer's rep agreement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, they may feel like they're not being loyal to their family, or they don't,
Oh, so you mean they're going to work with you, but also keep the door open to work with their cousin?
I want to know how would you handle that situation?
Yeah.
Some people just don't want to sign anything.
Yes, that's correct. I think
He's like his cousin.
the answer is in how you present the buyer's rep agreement. And if you'll give me a couple minutes, I'll get to that.
Okay, good.
Okay? We will definitely cover that. Okay, so now we're caught up with the manual. Okay, we did our little preliminary work. I would encourage you to keep this near you. If you do property desk in the mobile agent workstation, it's already there on the wall. Okay? All right. Are you currently in the market for a new home? Yes. How are you going about finding your perfect home? And this just drops through the dialogue that I put on that page. So we can go to the next page in your manual. Page 11. Now sometimes when you ask for a meeting so that we can uncover your needs, determine your financial comfort zone, and carefully outline the provisions of a win-win working relationship, some people might push back, okay? They might say, you know, that really sounds great, but I just don't think that's necessary in my situation. They're not all going to say yes, okay? You might have to justify that process because, frankly, no one else has ever asked them to do that. Every other agent has said, let's go hop in the car or I'll meet you at the property, okay? So here's the dialogue for that. Or, hey, can't you just email me the information, okay? Just send me the list of homes.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes they don't want to meet in person just because it's like, that's just too much, too serious.
Yes, yes.
Like you have to like build up
Yes.
before they're willing
Yes.
to come in and meet. Even though they're actively looking, that's just like,
Okay, how do you know that's the case? How do you, with a specific individual, how do you know that that's how they feel?
oh, I know, I was saying, I feel like that's sometimes how I feel like they,
Yes.
like the meeting is like, oh, that's way too serious.
Yes.
Just because I have a lady, she's looking to lease, and we talk, weekly via email and stuff, but then like, I guess the meetings, she's like, I'm really, not ready this week.
Right.
For a meeting.
Right.
But
Are they already?
It's
Here-
not ready.
here's my point, Tiffany. You don't know until you ask. Okay? As a professional salesperson, you have to ask and be prepared to justify. Are they all ready to meet? No, they're not. Okay? But we've already acknowledged that, right? If they're not willing to meet, what test have they failed?
They're not ready.
Motivation. Motivation. If they're motivated to buy, they are not going to resist a request to meet. They're going to appreciate that. Okay? If they resist the request to meet, they might be qualified, they might be loyal, but they are definitely not motivated. Okay? So, we toss them out, right? Be gone. No, we don't. We have a plan for B and C buyers. Okay? By the way, an A buyer is one who meets all three tests. A B buyer is someone who meets two of the three. A C buyer is the one who meets one of the three. What would be a D buyer? Delete. That's right. Dump. Okay? Get rid of them. Okay? They don't meet any of those criteria. All right. So we're focused in this class on A buyers, but there is a plan for B and Cs, and I'll touch on that. Okay? Hey, what do you mean? Do you not see benefit in us getting together? This is the justification, because they said, "Can't you just email me?" Oh, I don't really see value in that. Well, no other agent has ever asked me to do this. Okay? Exactly. This is very important dialogue right here. Okay? Exactly. Understand that I'm a real estate consultant, and I'm extremely serious about what I do. I don't do this part-time. I run a business, and I'm not just in the business of showing houses, I'm in the business of satisfying needs. I'm in the business of helping you find your perfect home. Okay, that's what I do. I have a process that I use with all my clients. Very important verbiage there. All my clients, not just you. Therefore, what we need to do before I start emailing you information is define your perfect home, make sure the homes we consider fall well within your financial comfort zone, and thoroughly discuss our roles and expectations in a successful working relationship. I believe the best approach when investing a large sum of money is to operate as an intentional and proactive team. Wouldn't you agree? Doesn't that make sense to you? Okay, use your own words here. Okay? All right, great. Well, I'm available at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Does that time work for you? Okay? Keep in mind, when you are in conversation with a potential buyer, we say potential because we don't know for sure yet, a potential buyer, that is one of the most highly dollar productive activities you could be engaged with, okay? It's like a major league baseball player, right, who from the time they're in diapers dreams of getting to the big leagues. Finally they're there and they're at bat, right? How much time in a professional professional baseball player's career is actually spent at the plate in a real game? It's minuscule, isn't it? It's tiny. It's tiny. Sometimes it just lasts seconds, just a minute or two. So doesn't it make sense? I mean, this is our at-bat as a real estate sales professional. We actually are on the phone with somebody who might be a buyer. Doesn't it make sense that if we don't connect on the first swing, we should take another? Okay? We could tuck our tail and go back to the dugout, right? But why not take all 3 swings while we're there? While we're there, we got them on the phone, okay? So this justification dialogue is, hey, I didn't connect on my first one. They didn't agree to meet. Let me try again. Let me go deeper. Let's just see if I can connect. And I would encourage you, take as many swings as you can, as you comfortably can, without offending them, okay? While maintaining a professional demeanor, take as many swings as you can, because it's getting them to a meeting without that, you're dead in the water. You've got nothing, okay? I don't really mean this. I would almost rather offend them to find out they're not really a buyer, okay, than to keep wasting time trying to reel them in, okay? I actually never want to offend anybody, so that's why I said I don't really mean that. But I want to hang in there until I'm almost to that point, okay? Hang in there. All right, next page, page 12. Move to the conference room. So this is presuming that they agreed to meet with us. They accepted our invitation. They saw the logic in our justification dialogue if necessary, okay? Typical agents move straight to the car with all who claim to be buyers. This is a risky approach since history has taught us that talk is cheap. Simply wanting to buy a home does not make one a legitimate home buyer, okay? Instead of moving straight to the car, develop the habit of moving straight to the conference room with potential buyers for a focus meeting. That's what it's called, a focus meeting. We're going to get focused. This is a terrific opportunity to separate from the herd and build healthy win-win working relationships. If you want to be a referable agent where your clients say, you got to work with Lulu. I mean, she is unbelievable. You can't act like everybody else. You have to separate from the herd. This is one of those activities, okay? Always notify the receptionist as to what time your clients will arrive, okay? Have the receptionist greet them by name and then escort them to the conference room, okay? Yes, Stacy and I did this, what, was it Tuesday? Stacy went up and gave our Director of First Impressions a heads up. We're expecting the Smiths at 2 o'clock. Please have them seated in the front conference room. Give them the rock star treatment, okay? The coffee, the water. And I like them, I coach the front desk. Yeah, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Stacy's expecting you. We're so excited that you're able to come in this afternoon. Let me show you to the conference room. Oh, can I get you some coffee or some water, okay? You want this to be a special event for people walking into the office. So get the front desk staff on your team, and they're fabulous about that if you give them the opportunity, okay? All right, so as they're seated, the receptionist says, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Stacy will be right with you. This is where you'll be meeting. So just set your things down in here and make yourself at home. May I get you something to drink? It would be my pleasure, etc. Okay? Now, once you're notified the Smiths are here, they're in the conference room, you want to move straight there. Don't leave them waiting, okay? Get on the selling channel. When we talk about getting on channel, what do we mean?
Your mindset?
It is your mindset. It's getting your mind and your body in the same place. Okay, getting on channel, okay? Don't be moving to the conference room and thinking about the Joneses somewhere else. No, this is about the Smiths, Okay? I'm going to meet with the Smiths. I'm going to uncover their needs at a deep level, right? I'm going to determine their financial comfort zone. I'm going to see if a win-win working relationship can be created. That's getting on channel, where my mind and my body are in the same place. Okay? Make sure you're in the correct mindset. So here's how you do that. Clear your head of any and all distractions, focus on the conversation at hand, and imagine the desired end result. All right, I have to ask you, what's the desired end result?
Oh,
Sign
Contract.
I'm gonna wait till I hear the right answer. What's the desired end result? To see if a win-win relationship can be created. Okay? I don't want them sign a buyer's rep with me. That might indicate that they're loyal, but they may not be motivated or qualified, right? I want to see if a win-win working relationship can be created. That's my goal. Okay? If not, I'm moving. If not, that was a successful meeting, okay? Because it saved me a whole lot of time over the next few days and weeks. Okay? That's the goal. Can a win-win relationship be created? And I've shared with y'all before, what's my mantra as I'm heading to a meeting with a buyer or seller, and more often with a recruiting prospect, what's the mantra that I repeat? That was a good guess. Who said that? Thank you, Nancy. Stay into curiosity. Stay into curiosity. Don't judge. Don't presume. When I hear something that doesn't make sense, what do? I ask more questions. I ask more questions. I stay into curiosity. I engage. Okay? That's what that's about. So we're getting in there to uncover needs and aspirations at a deep level.
So Frank, are you taking notes or are you just
Yes.
listening at this point?
I'm actually going to give you, you're going to see it here in just a moment, some sheets that you're going to customize them for your use, right? Where they take notes and you take notes. Okay? So we're almost there. Okay? So we're just now getting into the dialogue. We're building rapport. We're on page 13. Okay? When you first enter the conference room, both parties are a little nervous, right? Who is this agent who makes me come in for a meeting rather than running out to the ranch to show me the property? Okay? If you're a natural rapport builder, then just do what comes naturally. Do your thing. Okay? Not all of us are. And both introverted and extroverted agents can be highly successful. Highly. It doesn't matter your personality type. But if you're a natural extrovert, just do your thing. If you struggle with, oh, what am I going to say? Then drop into the forward process. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Okay? That's why we call it forward. It's so easy to remember. Just drop into that. Okay, hey, tell me about your family. What brings y'all here? What's the occasion for wanting to purchase a new home? Okay? Anything along that lines. It's probably too early to ask about their recreation, right? Hey, what do you do when you're not looking for a house? Okay, but just keep that in mind as a natural default, okay? And he gives you some here. Hey, it's a pleasure meeting you. Hey, it's unusually cold for Houston. I hope y'all are staying warm. Before we get started, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourselves, okay? Are you originally from this area? How long have you lived here? What do you do for a living? What do you do for fun? Hey, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you be? Okay? Houston, Texas. Hallelujah. Okay? All right, so we're just building rapport. We're warming up the room, right? Warming up the room. Causing them to like us. That's the bottom line. Like, oh yeah, she's all right. Yeah, he's all right. Okay? All right. Page 14, we're moving to stage 2 in the 5-stage process. We're setting the tone. So we've warmed up the relationship, we've built some rapport, we've found out a little bit about them personally. So now we're getting into the business conversation. Here's what it sounds like. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, let me say I really appreciate you meeting with me, and I want you to understand that my goal today is to establish the foundation for a win-win working relationship. A lot of real estate agents are willing to sacrifice a win-win in order to simply sell a house. And I want you to know right up front that I don't operate that way. With me, it's win-win or no deal. Okay? all of your needs and the vast majority of your wants are going to be satisfied. That's going to be a win for you. Okay? Now, since this is going to be a large financial investment on your part, we want to make sure that you get the home you want, and more importantly, want the home you get. Therefore, what we're going to do before we get into the car is define your perfect home, make certain of your financial parameters, and then thoroughly discuss the roles and expectations necessary for a successful working relationship. Is that okay with you? Okay? By the way, without looking at your notes, what are the 3 elements we keep going back to as the agenda for this meeting? We just described them to the Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Why are we here? Okay, that's the goal, right? But what are the elements of determining whether or not we can meet that goal? Okay? I want to uncover your needs. I want to establish your financial comfort zone and see if we have the beginnings let me say this, to clarify our expectations of each other in a successful working relationship. Okay? Those 3 things should become embedded in your consciousness. Okay? So Phyllis, why are we getting together? Why do you want to meet with me?
You want to cover their needs,
Uh-huh.
find out about their financial comfort zone.
Yes.
And have an understanding of what our expectations for each other.
Perfect. Perfect. That's it. That's why we're getting together. That's why. So I can understand your needs at a deep level, define your financial comfort zone, and we can thoroughly discuss the roles and expectations we would have of one another in a win-win working relationship. Okay? So nail those 3 things down. That's what it's about. Now, 3rd box. I want you to rest assured that anything you